For March 18th, 2016, we talk about the PlayStation VR release details, The Division, and we do a free play multiplayer. Welcome to level 142. My name is Kole Ross.
I'm David Maismith.
I'm Jala Prentice.
I'm Ben Merkel.
And you're listening to The Level. It's a podcast for people who love video games. David, back with us once more.
I know! Oh my gosh! Welcome back! Yay!
That was loud.
Well,
Hey,
sorry.
Dave.
I was excited.
Stop being so excited.
Oh, damn.
Stop being so nice, Jala.
Yeah.
He's cynical like everyone else.
Really goes against the spirit of the show when you just fire off like that. You know, I would edit this out, but I want to shame you. No. It's
I cheer for everything.
You
Give
do.
me
Sounds
reasons,
like we're going for
and I
negative
cheer.
episode round 2.
Yeah, I
Ding,
know,
ding.
right?
Ding ding. Fuck.
I'm too happy for that. So you're just gonna be foiled in this
I'm
evil
happy you're
plot.
happy.
Yeah. So there.
Oh gosh. Yeah. So you had some work stuff, but we're happy to have you back, David.
Hey, happy to be back.
Yay.
Yeah. Here on Election Day, at least here in Ohio.
Mhm. And when we're
Yeah.
recording.
Yes. Correct. There are all kinds of time shifts that are happening right now. Huh. It's almost like that is not a good way to start a show, especially when people don't like us talking about politics.
The only show where it actually doesn't work to be topical.
Oh, well, I don't want to burn too much cast here at the top. I want to get into the actual show, which is
Wait, which of the cast are we burning?
Oh, I figure it's been a while since you've been here. You gotta pay your dues. You can pick
Okay.
which part of you want burned.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about that Metal Gear fight, and things. Okay, continue.
So anyway, we got the brief, the multiplayer, and the grind, and we're going to start with the brief, where we talk about things that are happening in the world of video games. I'm going to lead off, and it's almost a shame that that Dennis isn't here, because this is an excellent follow-up to a previous conversation that we had a few episodes ago. But PlayStation VR, at a special event today, Sony has announced both its release and its price, and also shown the
Drum
actual
roll.
unit. Yeah. So it's going to be coming out this October for $400. Now, that has an asterisk next to it, because you also need the PlayStation camera in order to even use it, and you also, a lot of the games are going to use PlayStation Move controllers as well, because of the depth matching and stuff like that. So all in, you're looking at $460 to make this thing function.
Plus a move, right? Isn't the $60 just for the camera?
Yes.
Ooh.
So what is the camera for? Does it take pictures of you looking dopey with the goggles and use them as blackmail?
Yeah. It takes pictures of you and uploads them to make sure you never get elected. No, it's it does head tracking by looking at LEDs on the outside of the unit itself. So as opposed to having gyroscopes or something like that, the camera, which is 3D stereoscopic, it tracks the motion and the distance of your head. So you can do, like head tracking. You turn your head, and your character in the game turns its head.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So this feels, especially with the voodoo that they're doing to make the price look artificially low, like a shot across the bow of the $600 Rift and the $800 Vive. I've never figured out as a Vive or Vive.
I say Vive. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it looks like a like Vita almost, like Vive. I've never heard it said aloud, but yeah, this is, I don't know, that's kind of what people were hoping it would be coming out for, and they've got all these partnership deals announced for kind of development and things like that. They've also announced this thing called cinematic mode.
Yeah, I saw that. That actually seems kind of cool.
So the idea being that if you want to use the VR to play content that is not explicitly designed for VR, what it does is it puts you in a blank black void with the screen in front of you, and you can control how big the screen is, up to the appearance of 225 inches. Again, so it can be 225 inches, and you can get up to a distance of 2.5 meters away from it. So I guess if you just want to see what this pixel on the Hitman's head looks like, you can really get up in there and examine that chrome. Yeah.
I know. I read a article earlier today, basically, discussing those sorts of features in with the virtual reality, and basically making the argument that while they're probably kind of dopey right now, they're probably important in terms of, kind of being the first steps towards the ideas of like trying to mess around with like virtual environments for things.
Mm-hmm.
I could see that, yeah. And, I just hearing about this makes it sound like, oh, there might be some kind of weird future where nobody has a television, but you still mimic the experience of watching this 2D content by having this virtual television and a thing you strap to your head. Again, all alone. Unless everybody else has one of these things strapped to their heads as well. I'm super happy. How crazy would it be? Like, just would you guys like buy one of these just to get this experience of having the fake living room that you can like buy accessories for? Like, here's my home theater. Here's my Sony branded Monster Energy drink experience, with all these standees and neon lights off to the side. Like, I'm going to design my virtual bedroom. Like, I feel like if this came out in like 2009, that's what this would look like.
Yeah. I mean, that's basically The Sims made a best-selling series around that, didn't they?
True, but I'm imagining much more branded experience. Like, who would you want to sponsor your living room, your virtual living room?
That's a tough. I feel like that needs to be like a multiplayer question.
So I think the incentive for buying this is going to be similar for the incentive of buying different consoles, where it's going to depend heavily on the games and the type of experiences they'll have for each of the types. So I think that'll be the dictating factor for me, at least.
Yeah, I just kind of want to see how the whole VR market goes for a little bit before I even sink any money into that.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, see, for that reason, I almost wonder if doing exclusive content could actually be the wrong call. Yeah, I wonder if it's almost, it's like, have you ever seen the thing with, it's like Tesla, basically gives away all of its patents because ultimately it's in their best interest for competitors to make electric cars and make the electric car market actually be a thing.
Yeah.
As opposed to, have exclusive rights over like the 5 people that can, afford a Tesla.
I see more and more of them around town.
Yeah, they actually are becoming much more popular. There's like charging stations on campus now, I think.
Awesome. Yeah, I just like, to me that feels like, oh, I'm sorry, you can't watch this Blu-ray of Blade Runner because that's for the other television.
Right, exactly.
Like sorry, you've got a Vizio. You can only watch like these old like SD DVDs of Castle. Like, just to me, this feels more akin to like display technology, and I so know that's not what it is. But like, you're absolutely right with that. Like, hey, like I want this to immediately jump beyond the format war and get to a point where all of these, it's standardized in such a way that like you can play the same thing on all of them. You can plug it into pretty much any of these, the equivalent of the VR HDMI port or whatever, and then just roll with it. And the differentiation is in the niceties.
Now, does I'm trying to think. Does Valve have a virtual reality thing, or do they have a platform, or what's their dog in this market?
They're throwing their Cyberpunk helmet in with the Vive.
Okay, because I think I saw something today in passing, basically saying that they've come out and said they are going to go with everything or whatever.
I could totally see it being in their best interest to support whatever thing somebody wants to plug into Steam, but like, they're making content for the Vive, like they have Portal themed stuff for the Vive.
Yeah, I thought maybe it was the implication that it was not going to be exclusive. Although I like I said, it was something, like a headline that caught my eye.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I just know that that's who they're associated with.
Sure. Okay.
Ben, it sounded like you were going to say something earlier.
Well, I don't have a story, but I had read a story in passing over the past week that mentioned that Microsoft was open to the idea of doing crossplay between PlayStation 4 and Xbox online marketplaces.
Right.
So that would be another place. So kind of tying into the theme of like unifying the different consoles and kind of bringing that back together. That might be something that might be happening in the future. But
right. Was that specifically in regards to Rocket League?
I thought it was
see something
generalized
about that with Rocket League.
Yeah, Rocket League specifically. I don't know about the wider market though.
See, I feel like I guess I'm a little surprised that's their call.
That it's Microsoft's call? What happens on their platform?
Yeah, I mean, doesn't the Rocket Leaguians or whoever the hell makes Rocket League
Legions.
yes, Rocket Legions. Don't they own the servers? So, I mean, they can connect up their pipes and tubes however the hell they want, right?
I mean, in theory, for sure, but I think that Microsoft has an interest, or at least every platform holder aside from PC it's been in their interest to keep it artificially locked down. Insofar as like, no, Microsoft, will not let you connect to this server because if you want to have certification on our platform, you can't do this.
I feel like all that would take to undo that would be, one company to say, well, Microsoft said you can't play Rocket League anymore. Don't ask us.
Yeah, I don't know. It's really weird how as these new markets emerge and stuff gets to be kind of scrappier with the consoles and things like that, just how much it's reverting back to this kind of stuff. It's weird. Like proprietary stuff is crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, well. Any other thoughts on Sony VR before we move on to the next story? And I'm just so excited to jack into the future, to really be immersed in the world.
Have you seen videos of people hitting their heads against the floor yet with the VR?
No.
It's a thing.
How do they even work themselves into that position? Hitting your head on the floor is called falling, right?
It's a game developer's thing where it's like you're above like a room, like on the like ceiling tiles or whatever, and you lift up one of the ceiling tiles. And so if you go to look down into the room, you hit your head against the floor. So.
Oh.
Huh.
Mm-hmm. So basically, someone developed a game specifically to do that.
To hurt people, yes.
Well played, humanity.
It's a remake of the Bonk games from the Sega Genesis. Oh, gosh. Bonk Rising. Huh. Jala, how about you? What's your story?
Okay, well, I came across something really weird and it made me go, what the fuck? And because it made me go, what the fuck, any concept of talking about anything else I had pulled up was just out the window. You're going to have to put a link so that people can see this thing. There is a game that is coming out next month, and it is about dicks. Very much about dicks. It is called Genital Jousting. If you thought Mount Your Friends was like too much with wiggly junk, you just have to watch this video. It's like a short video, about a minute long, of this game that was made by the main programmer guy. Also works on Broforce, and he was at a game jam, and this was the result. And what they describe it as is a 4 to 8 player couch co-op sports game about flaccid penises and consensually penetrating your friends.
Jala, quick question for you. Do these cock and balls have both cock rings and anuses on the back of them?
I don't know about the cock ring, but yes, they do.
Yeah,
well, some of them do. They have. Some of them are rather dapper.
One of them appears to have a dress.
Yeah,
but yes, they do have. anuses on the back of them.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking at some penises butt fucking each other. This is unwanted thoughts, not from like a not from any kind of like sexuality standpoint, but from like a psychophysical, just I don't know, unpleasantness. There's something that feels pretty wrong.
Yeah. And if you have the sound on when you listen to the video, it's even worse.
This is like these at certain points these forums stop being cocks and balls.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
It's really weird.
Yeah.
I like that the tagline for the article is "Video game reminder that dicks are weird."
Yeah.
I don't know how weird.
It's not even that dicks are weird. The little anthropomorphic dick things that, have suits on and penetrate each other. That's weird.
I'm surprised there's no shooting mechanic for this.
I just can't help it.
Go ahead, David.
I can't help but think that this was just someone's attempt to like disprove Rule 34.
Well, can there be a Rule 34 or something that's already kind of pornographic?
Oh, I just figured, it's like, gotta think of something the internet hasn't thought of yet.
Yeah,
it's like the penile centipede.
Yeah, no, it's like whipping out your cell phone to play Trouser Snake.
Right.
Huh.
Yeah,
this is
just as the only female who regularly shows up on any of the podcasts, I felt I needed to bring this up because this was just a little bit crazy. And
no, I'm just watching these two form an Ouroboros.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of as well.
Yeah.
Well, the best part about this is that I shared this with Mikhail last night, and he's like, I'm totally going to take that sound effect and make it my new ringtone.
Wait, I need to hear the sound effect now.
I was gonna say, I listened to it with the sound off, and I think I'm okay with that decision.
One second.
It's terrible.
Huh. Yeah, like at a certain point, it was never really offensive. It's certainly crude. It kind of stops meaning anything. Like these become Dr. Seuss creatures. Definitely, there's going to be a link in the show notes for this.
Well, it is definitely Dr. Seussian at some point because they're all really brightly colored.
What Dr. Seuss were you guys reading?
Oh, his his when you started working blue to pay the bills.
Yep.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Gotta hustle, man.
He did have a book called "There's a Rocket in My Pocket."
That's true.
I don't think he actually wrote that.
Yes, he did. That's totally a Dr. Seuss book. Genital jousting.
Oh, he did.
Huh.
Yeah.
Oh, what am I thinking of? Sorry, this.
Which Dr. Seuss are you thinking of?
Wow, I need more sleep.
As do we all.
For sure. David, how about you?
I've got nothing.
Attaboy. Ben.
I cannot possibly follow whatever that was.
That thing. Yeah.
So I have a short update to the story that I was trying to cobble together from memory before. So it says that Microsoft just made it possible to do multiplayer with other platforms. And so it's kind of open-ended. And so Rocket League's the first game to do that, where they can connect between like 360, PlayStation, and computer if everybody's down. But apparently they just made it so that it's possible to do that from their end.
Great.
Yeah.
Does that require like reciprocation from Sony's side?
It sounds like it, and it sounds like the developer would have to do something as well.
Yeah,
so
to actually integrate it. But yeah, no, revise that semi-bleak thing that I said about things getting weird as the market gets scrappier. That's a good move on Microsoft's part.
And then say it again when we talk about genital jousting.
All right.
Multiplayer.
Now it is time for the multiplayer, where we usually ask you a question, but because Dennis is away,
it is Breakfast Club.
Yep, it is time for breakfast for dinner. I feel bad that Dennis doesn't get to participate in these. We're gonna have to arrange another one here. when he gets back. But yeah,
I didn't get that pattern. Do we always do a free play when Dennis isn't around?
well, here's the thing. Dennis is the keeper. He's the person who usually puts those prompts up, and instead of thinking of one, I usually just find it easier to say like, hey, everybody ask us questions. So this is go ahead.
He actually has some kind of a list with listener questions in it somewhere, but he doesn't share it. So when he's not around, it's kind of like either scrounge for a question real quick or replay, everybody.
Yeah, we would cut him so fast from the podcast if he didn't have that list.
Yeah, I think it gets off on the power. So let's see here. So in case it was not clear, this is when we do the free play multiplayer where you ask us questions. This is like a regular short rapid fire listener's mail. I'm going to get us started with Eric, who writes in asking, number 1, what are some of your favorite webcomics? Number 2, Kole, did you vote in the Ohio primary? I will answer the second question first. Yes. David, did you vote?
Yes, I did.
Cool. Webcomics. Let's hear Jala as the current reigning comics person on the show. What are some of your faves?
Well, I'll just mention a couple. The first one would be The Bean by Travis Hansen, and the reason why is because he is kind of like my mentor. He's the reason why I actually started releasing Sailor Moore, my own personal comic, which is up on my website, neonskystudio.com. But anyway, Travis is over at beanleafpress.com, and he releases his, he's been Eisner nominated. He's a really, really awesome and super inspirational guy. And he does regular Kickstarters with other side projects, kids books or other random things. Like his most recent one was some kind of a card game with cats versus aliens or something like that, like a bunch of random things like that. But anyway, it's a fantasy comic, and, I like his art style a lot. It's really imaginative and very neato. And it just has kind of like a sense of wonder to it that I really enjoy. The other one that I will mention is a newer one that just came out within about the last month called Scurry. And it is by, what's his name? Mac Smith. And it is a really interesting art style too, like a really nice art style. And it is about mice rather, and cats and their ongoing battles for food and everything else. But it's interesting enough. Like his art style is very solid, and his production value is awesome. So yeah, definitely a good thing to go check out. So those two are the two main ones I'll mention. I mean, I'm part of like a webcomic creator, ring and a bunch of other things. So there's 50 million I could start rattling off, but I'll limit it. Just those two.
I only have one that I follow with any regularity anymore, and that's Nedroid. That is done by, I forget his full name, but his name is Anthony. He also does the coloring for Dr. McNinja, but Nedroid is his own thing, and it's about this egotistical bird named Reginald and this goofy bear named Bertato, and it's just super like good-hearted and very gentle kind of humor, but it's very clever, and it's beautiful. Like it shows that this guy is a colorist, because like he does these really, it's either these really limited patterns or these very limited color schemes, or these like really rich, colorful kind of things, and it's just whatever he feels like doing. And yeah, it's just good-hearted fun.
Oh! Was that the only one you were going to mention?
Yes.
I remembered another one I wanted to absolutely recommend. Brood Hollow by Chris Straub. It's kind of Lovecraftian, but also at the same time a kind of an interesting comic with an interesting style to it. You can tell that Chris used to be a graphic designer at one point. He has some really muted, pastel-y looking patterns and things like that he utilizes in his comic, and it has a very clean and simple style. It's about a guy who ends up inheriting some property in Brood Hollow, and he ends up coming across like all of these weird, creepy things, like a creepy underground society and a bunch of other stuff. And then there's like, weird dark shadows and things that, are, like whatever.
DVDs
Anyway,
of
it's
Tim
interesting.
Burton's Dark Shadows movies.
So-
Yeah, it's basically anyway, it's interesting, it's fun. It's also got a lot of lighthearted moments to it, so it's not like a dark and sinister comic, but it does have some Lovecraftian elements to it, so it would be fun for anybody who likes that type of stuff. So
Brood Hollow was actually going to be one of mine that I follow.
Okay.
I think the thing for me, I think it has some really cool ideas. Some of kind of the central premises of it. Some of the kind of supernatural, the way it works, are really cool. It also has a really neat kind of pseudo prohibition like setting that you set up.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the two big things for me are I really like that it's legitimately, Lovecraftian. It's not like Hello Cthulhu or one of the kind of parody cosmic horror type things. But at the same time, it keeps it pretty light.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of going with what Jala said with the art style, it's really cool because most of the art style is kind of does the like looks like something I have like Sunday morning cartoons in the newspaper.
Mm-hmm.
But then the monsters and stuff are done. I would sort of describe them as when you see like the BuzzFeed articles that will be like what X thing from your childhood, Pokemon or cartoon characters, whatever would look like in real life. And someone drawing things with kind of a excessively realistic, where they kind of exaggerate the realism, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like the close-ups on Ren and Stimpy or SpongeBob.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not exactly like that, but it's sort of that feeling, really extreme use of like lens flare and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So so that's really, really good. The other one I've been following is the 19XX, which is basically a diesel punk kind of pulp fiction type adventure. It's kind of set in a alternate history. I believe it's interwar period. So and I know as real neat setting. The author does a lot of cameos and like guest appearances from various historical figures, and tends to be a lot of kind of semi-obscure figures. So like one of them I remember is like one of them, that's dealing with some like witchcraft type thing in the French Quarter, and they're accompanied by the person was one of the first African American stage magicians.
Okay.
And like so just a really neat setting. The drawing styles, kind of some of a little bit the throwback comic books, a little bit maybe Adventures of Tintin style.
Yeah, like real simple line. It's got like a halftone over it almost.
Yeah. So I'd say, and then popular mention, I really like Dr. McNinja. Followed in the past MS Paint Adventures, but I haven't been able to keep up with it, and at times more in the past Mega Tokyo was really cool. So
Ben, how about you?
I don't really follow many comics with regularity, but I would say like XKCD or Garfield minus Garfield or American Voices from The Onion, if that counts as a webcomic. I don't know if it does or not.
the fake man on the street kind of things. Well, I mean, Kelly from the Onion, the fake political cartoonist they have is really good. Yeah. Yeah, I think that those are valid answers.
All right.
And also say, like, since everybody else got a knock on one, I'll say Aquid, but that is a much bigger commitment than something like Nedroid, which you can just, like, I've read all of Nedroid like 10 times, but mostly by just like picking a random one and like reading a few and then starting again. Yeah. We spent a lot of time on that question, so I'm going to ask David, what does Chase say?
Sure. Chase says, is there a game or series of games from your childhood that you have dramatically changed your mind on? Something you loved but can't stand now, etc.? I'm not sure. I couldn't really think of a single game that was like that. I would say, though, my taste in games has dramatically changed in that I used to be at least a little bit of a fan of like traditional RPGs, I guess now JRPGs. And not that much of a action gamer, and now they've sort of switched.
How much of that was due to the fact that you spent most of your time when we were young playing like portable stuff?
Yeah, I think there's some of that. I definitely think there's some of that. I think also in general just time. I think with the JRPG stuff, I think maybe a little bit, not just the time, but I at some point started to perceive them as being not respectful of my time.
Right.
If that makes sense. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Ever since Jonathan Blow coined the term "respectful of time," I was not aware of how disrespectful of the time they were. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've gone through things like that too.
Yeah, I couldn't think of a specific game that I just, didn't like anymore, but kind of piggybacking on David's, it's pretty much the same for me. Although in my case, I didn't play any horror games whatsoever back in the day. I just did not. And I didn't play anything like Metal Gear or things like that. And I think actually to, admit to it, I think a large portion of that was mostly because I kind of perceived that as being like, the things that the dudes would play, and that if I played them, then the dudes would criticize how I played them. So I didn't play them. I didn't play them because I didn't want the male friends that I had to give me shit about how I play. And,
bummer.
Which is interesting because now I'm streaming, and I'm streaming BioShock, which is, I'll talk about that later, but that's a thing that I would never have done before.
Right.
So.
Classic dudes.
Now that you mention it, I feel like for me, maybe kind of the sleeper one for me could sort of be horror. Because I still would consider myself someone who doesn't like horror games and horror fiction. But on the other hand, like, Bonfireside Chats recently did like The Mountains of Madness and The Thing, and those are like one of my favorite movies and one of my favorite books. Yeah. But I ostensibly don't like horror. So like I feel like maybe I've got a sleeper one that's kind of similar to what you were saying.
Yeah.
Well, that's okay, because at the same time you kind of flatly say that you don't like indie games, but then you point out indie games that you like with some regularity. So I mean, like, it's a thing you do, David.
Gotta keep the hypocrisy on down. Keep it real. Keep it not real.
Ben, how about you?
So Kole, I preemptively apologize for my answer, but when I replayed Silent Hill a while ago, it was maybe 6 or 7 years after it initially came out, I was somewhat disappointed by the school monster at the end, only because it was like so terrifying when I played it when it was like brand new. But that was something where it was very graphics dependent, I think. Yeah. And so after a couple generations removed, it was not as intense as it was when I was a younger kid.
Definitely. Like, it kind of looks like a big Dorito monster. Yeah. You're talking about the one that kind of like splits its head and you have to shoot it with a shotgun?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yep. No, like that game does not do big monsters very well.
Yeah. But Still, I love the game, but yeah.
Man, I've been in a Silent Hill hole. Yeah.
Is that
A hill
good?
hole.
Oh, it's great. I've been in a silent hole. Go ahead.
Kind of related to that, actually. I'm just going to tangent. Screw it. I did want to ask. I saw you did the Let's Play of Silent Hill. Like, you've played that a ton of times now, right?
Oh yeah.
So what is the experience now? I guess is why I immediately wondered why I saw you do that. Like, is it still scary at all? Is it is it easy now? Just like what's
why would you go back and play a game that came out like 10 or 12 years ago?
No, I understand David's question, actually. Like, just can something be scary if you know what's going to come? And I play it infrequently enough now that I kind of forget it. I remember the broad strokes, but like there are certain details that pop out, like just like with any other work where you notice different things about it with different kind of passes. It's still very much the same thing. And like, the way in which specifically Silent Hill 1, 2, and 3 are scary kind of remains kind of this intangible sense of dread that is outweighed by kind of like the knowledge. Like, it is resistant to it's resistant to familiarity's compressing effect in a lot of ways. So it's probably not as like, I'm not 12 years old anymore, and I'm not, returning the game to the rental store because the intro is too scary. But like, you just appreciate different parts of it as it goes.
Sure.
Also, I think Dorito monster idea is kind of creepy and scary. So, I would still say a Dorito monster would be scary. I don't want a big Dorito coming after me. That's kind of not nice.
Way too salty because that dust
sponsorship potential with it too.
Yes,
that is not allowed in my Dorito sponsored VR room.
Yeah, it's my Dorito sponsored corporate nightmare room.
He vomits monster on you.
Too much Red Lake number 4.
Oh man. Yeah. And for mine, like, so this is tough because like it's hard for me to name a game that I played when I was really young that I liked, that I don't harbor some affection for now. And I play a lot of those games over now, over the course of doing work for the podcast. And like,
it's almost like you've got a podcast about that.
yeah. But it's like, like I can't really name anything that I've done, any particular title that I've done a 180 on. Like, I think there are series that I've cooled on a lot, definitely. Like, I'm not terribly excited about a new Zelda game coming out, and I haven't been since Majora's Mask, but, whatevs. I don't know if that answers the question, though. Hopefully. Jala, how about, why don't you ask the question that James asked?
Do any of you watch Rick and Morty? Yes or no? I don't need more than that. Smiley face.
We've been going pretty slow through these, so let's keep it at a yes or no. Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Okay, 50-50. There you go, James. And then Ben, what does Steven say?
Is there a game you keep meaning to go back and finish, but other distractions keep coming up? Mine's Deadly Premonition.
Dark Souls.
That's what Steven says. That's not what I say. But
well, I say Dark Souls.
Yeah. Yep. I would argue that one's pretty important. But of course I would. Here's mine. Red Dead Redemption. I always get a hankering to go back and finish that because I love Western shit.
Yeah, you should do that.
The problem is that I start a lot of AAA games and then like I don't go back to them because I just don't have enough interest in them for some reason or another. Like I would like to go back and play DMC, but I don't know if I will. Maybe if I stream it and then like have face cam on so everybody can see me get mad about Dante, then maybe that'll happen and I'll actually beat that game. But
I generally don't play games where I hate the main character.
Well, I know, but the way the game plays is nice, and I want to play it because it plays nicely, but then I don't like him and I want to flip a table.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I
continue.
Yeah. David, how about you?
Sure. I think for me, probably Dark Souls, Bloodborne on the list technically. I would say that probably the biggest one for me though is the Arkham series.
Hmm.
Ooh.
So
Yeah, I played part of the first one and then I just stopped.
yeah, the
don't really
problem
have-
is
Yeah.
for me, I'm not particularly good at that style of combat, and at least for me, those skills atrophy really, really quick. So I'm not sure if I could how I'd go about picking it back up, particularly the first one, since the first one, didn't really have, had very limited number of combat encounters.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I just got bored, and that's it.
Yeah.
Sacrilege. I will admit, yeah, it is hard to jump back in to get those controls down if you're like at the ending point of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was when I left off, I was about to go after Killer Croc.
Oh, that's pretty far into the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh. Ben, I forget. Did you fire yours off? In the fracas at the beginning?
I have 2 Metal Gears that need to finish that I'm behind on.
Oh, wow.
So,
Which? Phantom Pain?
the Phantom Pain and the one that was for the Vita originally, or
Peace Walker.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. I forget. Did you beat the first chapter of Phantom Pain?
Yeah, I got probably about halfway through Phantom Pain. I just fell off. So, yeah.
Yeah, there's a definite point after which the story that it was trying to tell is over, and then the rest of it's like coda essentially.
Okay.
Yeah. Ollie asks, is there a game you think you played but it turned out you hadn't, and you just read so much about it that you thought you had? I genuinely thought I played the first Assassin's Creed, but the other day I put it in and realized that I had never played it, and I have played 2 through to Brotherhood. So 2 and Brotherhood.
Yeah, the short answer is no.
Yeah.
I would say no, although I have definitely had games I've particularly Let's Played or you watch Let's Plays all the way through that I would consider myself a fan of the game despite never having actually played it.
Can you give an example of a title?
I think what I really liked was Contradiction.
Oh yeah, that's the FMV.
Yeah, which I guess maybe that's a little bit cheating because it's a game that is mostly just watching stuff, but but that's a game that I would legitimately I never played. I don't have any intention to play. I really hope they make a sequel and would I don't know, probably kickstart it with the continued intention to never actually play it and just watch someone else play it.
Just watch it as the procedural with the worst possible production values.
See, but the most amazing acting.
Huh. Yeah. No, I mean, I'm kind of in Jala's camp. I've never mistakenly remembered playing a game. But there are games like Binding of Isaac or Spelunky that I have heard so much talk about them, and I've watched so much kind of footage of people playing them that I feel like I have a pretty good grasp of the systems. I just can't get my dumb meat hands to do what I want them to do.
Well, I have never played Silent Hill, but I have watched Kole and various other people play Silent Hill, and so I've absorbed Silent Hill over years of watching other people play the game, never having played it myself. And so I think I could go and pick up a sequel and be fine with that, but I'm not going to go back and play the ones I've already seen because I feel like I've gotten what there is to get out of that. I mean, at this point, to go back in there and try to play it at this point for me just kind of seems superfluous, but
yeah.
I'm going to take that back. Dead Space. I'm actually not sure if I played it or if that was when Dennis and I were roommates. And I know I watched him play it a lot. I don't know if I ever actually played it or not.
Yeah. Dead Space. Yeah. Let's see here. David, what does Kilo say?
Sure. Kilo says, what are some hobbies you have that you don't get to bring up much on the show? I feel like that's tough for me because my main hobby, martial arts, I mentioned a fair amount, and the steampunk thing I think fairly comes out. I think for me, I recently, in the last several months, have started doing leatherworking.
In addition to your metalworking?
I did metalworking more when I was down in Alabama because I don't actually have the equipment for that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I did some blacksmithing down in Alabama.
Let's see here. Ben, how about you?
I think disc golf might be one hobby that I never really bring up on the show that I have. Biking. That's the other one. That's about it.
Sorry, when I hear biking, I think of like motorcycle, like Hell's Angels.
Yeah. Bicycling.
Yeah. Cycling. Yeah. Jala, how about you? Because I know that you have a lot of, you have various and sundry passions. And
Well, I'm growing like this crazy garden with Russian mammoth sunflowers that'll be 12 feet tall at some point, and various other kinds of crazy ass plants outside of the building that I record in. So there's that, and I cook, and another thing, like I talk about my fitness stuff all the time and all my art stuff, which is also a business for me, but I also have since February resumed belly dance class. I used to take belly dance a long time ago, and then there was a long hiatus due to medical stuff, and I'm back in action. So that's a thing I do. And so stuff.
yeah. I talk about my interest in kind of bird watching kind of stuff quite a bit, like on Twitter and here, just in the bullshitting kind of side of it. Something that doesn't come up is the fact that I like to play guitar and sing and do some like composition, like the theme song for this show and the theme song for Bonfireside Chat are me. I don't get to do as much music stuff as I would like to, just because, various factors, but it is kind of a relaxation thing for me.
Cool.
Yeah. So that's
Hobbies be something you like just like.
I don't I mean, it could be something I usually associate hobbies with something you do.
Okay, yeah.
And something that you should enjoy doing, probably.
Yes.
Well, yeah, no, I meant like.
Otherwise, it's a chore. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay.
And we have time for one more. Jala, what does Sam ask?
Sam asks, are there any critically maligned video game movie adaptations that you think are undeserving of their hate? Street Fighter the movie is a perfectly fine action comedy.
I'll agree with that.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah. Street.
I don't know if there's any other ones that I would say are critically maligned that I think are super exciting. I don't know.
One that
mention some.
E.T. was really good. The movie came second, right?
Yep, the movie came second.
In terms of were any of the Tomb Raider movies that good?
I remember the first one being not bad.
Yeah,
Nope.
yeah. Like I vaguely remember the
It's
first
bad.
one being not bad, and that's all I remember.
Yeah, like I watched the first one at a drive-thru, and admittedly I was 12, and it had Angelina Jolie in it. I remember this. I remember not liking the second one, thinking it was really boring, but the first one being just kind of like a mediocre action film.
At the end of the first one, there's an inexplicable scene where they're racing up a pyramid to the top to get something that either saves humanity or kills humanity. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Low from column A, low from column.
That kills exactly half of humanity but saves the others. Yeah. I don't know. The only film adaptation that I like is the Silent Hill one. Like that I actually think is good.
Yeah.
And even that has a terrible third act. But
I disagree.
This is ongoing. We've disagreed. I called you Gary there. I'm so sorry.
Oh.
But
No, that's a good thing. I like Gary.
Yeah. But we've disagreed on this for 10 years. You know that, right?
I mean, I think the grotesqueness of it matches the video games, but
the grotesqueness of the third act of the Silent Hill movie doesn't bother me as much as the pacing problem. Like that movie has like Return of the King level. Like, okay, this could have ended in at least 3 spots. Yeah,
I need to rewatch that before I can jump into that debate, but it sounds like an interesting one to jump into.
Yeah, but like none of the ones that are critically maligned will I come in and say are like good. I think Sam's asking this because I recently, by recently I mean yesterday, watched Silent Hill Revelation, and oh boy, is that terrible.
oof.
Like
is that the one that was like 3D?
Yeah, Silent Hill Revelation 3D.
And it has I forget the actress's name, but she's like a good actress. Michelle Williams, right? Isn't Michelle Williams in that?
I think so.
Yeah.
Playing Heather. Yeah, it's the film adaptation of 3 where they take out all of the interesting stuff of 3. And it also has less than half of the budget. It's so bad.
I feel like I kind of expect at some point video game movies are going to kind of be like comic book movies are now, in which people start like actually not just having them be money grabs, and we'll kind of figure out how to do them. At the same time, I also feel like I feel like a lot of video games are made to basically be playable movies. Mm-hmm. And therefore, I feel like when you translate that back into a movie, you just come out with kind of a shallowized movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, definitely. Like, it's man, like, I think that they're going to get to a point, but I don't know. Like, there's a whole bunch of movie adaptation that kind of misses the point.
Yeah. Well, I guess, yeah. I guess maybe part of it is I feel like there's a lot of games that people think should be made into movies, not because they actually should, but because the whole point of the game was to be like a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know that necessarily people were clamoring for this, but I think, one example would be like Max Payne, where like the whole point of that game was basically to be a playable movie.
Yeah. Or it's like,
unfortunately, it was missing Mark Wahlberg.
The game was, yeah. God, Mark Wahlberg, what a farce. No, that's yeah. Or like people say, like, oh, Shadow of the Colossus and BioShock should be movies, and the thing that makes those amazing is the fact that you're controlling them.
Right.
Yeah.
I would feel like.
And like with Shadow of the Colossus, like the loneliness is such a big aspect of it. And like, how are you going to do that in a movie? Just have 5 minutes of the character just walking around silently,
Yep.
Yeah, I feel like either of those I think could be made into movies. I just don't think they'd be the movie people expected or wanted. Mm-hmm. Because like I think BioShock. I think you could basically make interesting movies in those worlds, but I think just translating the games wouldn't work.
Right.
How do you guys feel about the Final Fantasy movies?
I only saw the 3D one. That was the one that was like the poster child for Uncanny Valley.
Oh, the Spirits Within?
Yeah, the Spirits Within, and there's Advent Children.
The Spirits Within, the video game adaptation that was a Steve Buscemi and Alec Baldwin vehicle. And then Advent Children was the Final Fantasy VII sequel. Mm-hmm. I mean, like, is that one that you would consider like to be good despite critical stuff? Or
yeah, I mean, I would call both of those kind of equivalent to video game movies. I mean, Spirits Within is kind of its own canon, so maybe that's a little bit different. But Advent Children is definitely a video game movie, I would say, and I think that's really good.
I'm curious. I need to go back. Like
I just can't get over how super like tropey it is to the point of just making me gag when I'm just rolled my eyes watching that movie. I mean, I'm sorry. I like Final Fantasy VII. It's fine, but I was not excited about Advent Children when I watched it. I was like excited for it, and then I watched it, and I'm like, oh, that was bullshit.
It feels it feels like
perhaps I should preface this with I have never played the video game, so I was seeing it purely for like action scenes, and I like that.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's like all flashy and shiny and shit, but it's just so tropey. I'm just like, I guess it's just because I've been exposed too much to those tropes to find them fun anymore. So I'm just jaded. So I'm a jaded audience. I'm sure I'm making somebody mad listening to this, but whatever.
Yeah. I think like Devil May Cry could be a good movie if you approached it simply as this is an excuse to make an awesome action movie.
Yeah. Just like something like over the top, like a like a Big Trouble in Little China kind of thing.
Yeah.
Or like Hot Fuzz.
Yeah, something like that. Like this is just an excuse to have awesome fight scenes and corny dialogue.
I don't like just the idea of an Edgar Wright directed Devil May Cry movie just like tickled me pink for some reason.
The The idea of an Edgar Wright movie is just always makes me happy.
Yeah.
I'm still hoping for the Kristen Pierce campaign from Resident Evil 6 as a straight up buddy cop movie.
That would work as a buddy cop movie, and
With
it's so
distinctive-
actiony. Like, yeah, that would totally work.
With distinctive homoerotic overtones. Not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just weird that they didn't address it.
Yeah.
Well, this has been a longer multiplayer segment than usual. There are so many responses that we didn't hit. However, I am harvesting those and putting them in a place to hopefully be used sometime here in the future. Thank you so much, everybody, for following along with that. If you would like to participate in future multiplayer segments, go to facebook.com. Sexments, yes. Go to facebook.com/thelevelpodcast.
But remember, if you're going to have any sex mints, to first use a condiment.
Be sure to wear your vestments, by which I mean clothes for your penis that are rubber,
Genital jousting.
I'd just like to point out, I love I think it's maybe a misspelling for the next one. Why are you all playing Stardew Valley yet?
Oh, gosh.
He has harvested, so he's already enacting Stardew Valley on his own. And I'm already growing Stardew Valley outside.
Yeah. No, I was gifted a copy of Stardew Valley, and I'd like to talk about it soon. Not like this episode, but yeah. No, that was John. Okay, this segment can end now.
The grind.
Now it is time for the grind, where we talk about the games that we have been playing over the past, period of time or so. David, since you have been gone the longest, I will throw it to you first.
Sure. So, I picked up the Division.
Oh, wow, that's a big one.
Yeah. So, although a big thing with it was they didn't release any pre-release for reviews, and I sort of got burned by this. It was not, as the title suggested, a game about teaching basic math.
Yeah, no,
So,
you're looking for the remainder.
Yes. So I have to take a couple points off for that, but no, actually, so I guess, this game, it's, the basic plot is, that, some scientist, releases a weaponized version of smallpox, by, infecting, money with it and then, putting it into circulation in New York City. And, the entire city gets quarantined and basically ends up getting taken over by gangs and looters and stuff like that. And so you're a member of this secret government organization sent to Snake Plissken your way into
You
New
mean Snake
York.
Plissken?
What?
Close enough.
You mean Plissken? Sorry.
Yeah, didn't I say that?
You said Plitkin.
Plissken.
Yeah,
Wow.
which it's like a couple of syllables off from a Price is Right game. Sorry, I don't mean to bust your balls about it. I
Oh
just
yeah,
want to make sure.
no, sorry. Yes, Plissken. And so basically you're a member of the Division, which is this group that's job is to ensure continuity of government, which doesn't quite make sense because
Why
our
would you call it
government
the
is
Division?
located in New York.
Right. So you're protecting the mayor.
I don't know. Like, they never really explain that at all.
Mayor Force 2020X.
But yeah, so basically the plot line is that there's all these people that are kind of just sleeper agents that are living their regular life and all have these highly brandable smartwatches that when they light up, that indicates that they are now humanity's last best hope.
So that's what this watch is for.
Right. So no, it's actually that kind of that I'm kind of joking about, but it's actually kind of a neat kind of subplot is that you all of the people who are agents are all fairly normal people. Who not so much like some sort of like I don't know, like Hunger Games or like Die Hard-esque, but like they're all, it's not so much like you're some Sam Fisher like Splinter Cell person so much as is like one of the people, like his qualifications for being in the division is he was a war reporter. Or like, you know, like someone else is like, you know, like demolitions expert that like not a military demolitions expert, just like that's his
Just
job.
the pyro.
Yeah. You know, so it is kind of cool that like you're all of the characters are like, you know, government trained, you know, special forces, but are basically normal people.
Right. So is that there to kind of justify a power curve? Like we can't have people starting out as super soldiers and explain why they are terrible shots and fragile?
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. I'd say maybe more. I think not so much to have a ramp up, but just kind of keep things realistic.
Okay.
To a certain degree. Like I feel like the game, it seems like it's meant not to be quite so much of like, you know, not like a Splinter Cell where your character's just perfect.
Right.
So yeah, it's got some really neat features. It's basically a cover shooter. You know, it's got the you know, kind of got the Gears of War style run between cover. You know those sorts of mechanics. I really like as a really good job of the different weapon classes that handle really differently and really big focus on switching between them. So, you know, a lot of things where, you know, normally you'll want to, you know, be behind cover, you know, taking pot shots with a, like an assault rifle. But then, you know, like I'm currently fighting enemies that'll, you know, some of them have riot shields that'll, you know, bum rush you and you need to like switch to a shotgun or a submachine gun so you can, you know, quickly take them out while backpedaling.
Right.
Stuff like
It's
that.
like your panic weapon.
How
Right,
many
exactly,
weapons
exactly.
can you have at one time?
Say that again?
Sorry, how many weapons can you have at one time?
It's 2 primary weapons and a sidearm.
Okay.
And with the sidearms all being pistols. So, and then you also can have 2 like active abilities because it's very, very much you know, does the kind of MMORPG thing. So like my current active ability, one of them is like a self-heal, and the other one is a sentry gun. There's also one that's I've got one that's basically you pull out like a collapsible riot shield, and you basically have like automatic cover, but you can only use your pistol. And being hit in the riot shield like big time throws your aim around, stuff like that.
Okay.
So really solid gameplay. I've been told that the you know, from things I've read, apparently the setting is very true to New York. I've never really spent time there, so I don't know. But it's definitely. It almost feels like to me like, you know, this is an Ubisoft game, and I sort of feel like, and granted, this has been kind of the press release, you know, slogans. So maybe it's kind of power of suggestion, but I kind of feel like this is sort of a game where finally Ubisoft's idiosyncrasies have paid off.
Idiosyncrasies in terms of like their standardized design, their like weird kind of like semi-implemented online systems. Can you quantify that more?
I'm more me in terms of like their insistence that every game must be open world.
Okay.
Because I would say kind of what's cool about this is I would say it's actually an open world game, whereas most MMOs kind of fake being open world games, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So I mean, it's actually a lot of just like as you wander around, like the NPCs are actually doing things.
Okay.
So like I've seen like NPCs like one NPC trying to convince another that they need to like eat rats to survive. I've seen NPCs being like menaced by stray dogs.
So it seems like a cross between like dystopian GTA and like Modern Warfare.
Yeah,
Is that accurate?
That's kind of accurate. That's kind of accurate. So
what's the pace of the play like? Because like I hear cover shooter, I think Gears of War, which is pretty slow. Like how quick is this?
It's hard for me to say because I haven't played a ton of true cover shooters. I would say though, excuse me, it has very, very strong auto aim. In particular, when you pop up behind cover or from behind cover, as a very strong like snap to target. And so because of that, I feel like the gameplay, it almost makes the focus on the gameplay be less twitch and more kind of strategy. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the same time, the weapon swapping and keeping track of like enemies trying to flank you is a big deal. Also, I would say like the shotgun and submachine gun weapons can very much be played kind of as the anti-cover, where when you use those weapons, it's more. A lot of it is being hypermobile and exploiting the fact that your enemies are using cover systems.
Okay.
So
so you actually have options for taking the system into account as opposed to it just being hide and seek.
Right, exactly. So yeah, so the whole thing feels really good. The world feels really, really alive. I think my two favorite things that have happened to me so far, and both of them have been just kind of silly, is one of the some of the dialogue is a little sparse. It gets repeated a little bit more than maybe it should. It's very much going to become it's going to be fodder for memes. One of the big ones being that apparently every third looter is named Alex.
I mean, that's going to happen in any game that is as kind of like repeatable as this. There's only so much dialogue you can record. Like, what's the time commitment that this is asking for? Like pegging it to, I don't know, like where does it fall between like WoW and Destiny?
I would say much more to Destiny.
Okay.
There's I think like 10 main missions. I would say the big thing that's different than either of those is with it being open world, it's much more. I think I currently have every. I've just unlocked each of the base upgrade trees, so I've kind of just gotten through the kind of first little leg of the game. And I think I now have access to literally every story mission in the game.
Okay.
Is it artificially guarded by level though?
Yeah, I mean it is, but at the same time, it's still very much like just kind of go. It's very much the like Ubisoft. You open your map and there's just stuff all over the place, and you go and do what you feel like doing.
You pick the nearest thing that seems interesting.
Right. They do. I have to report though have radio tower missions, which I feel like by this point that has to be a joke.
Like they're just doing it out of obligation.
Yeah. Yeah. They're actually that one and also the ones where you have to go into some of them where you have to like upload data are actually kind of cool because both of them have timers, which kind of upends the slow-paced cover shooter mechanic. So it's actually a pretty cool mission, but yeah.
Huh. So do you think this this car has wheels on it? I can't think of a better way to say it.
Sure.
Like, are you in this for the long haul or good?
Because looking online, people seem to really like it. Like going to kind of forums, stuff like that, scoping it out. Like there seems to be a lot of positive feel for it. On the other hand, it's gotten pretty middling reviews.
Mm-hmm.
I think the thing that's interesting is, they obviously want this to be their destiny, but I don't see with this storyline how you keep adding content. Because, I mean, like...
You can't just add, like, a new planet and a new space lord.
Right, and, humanity, humanity in general, but particularly America, would quickly run out of major cities for you to, like, devastate.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know, like I'm hoping maybe like the continuity of government things going somewhere, but I don't know.
Yeah, like the next expansion is DC.
Yeah, or like and granted, like I haven't played enough to exactly know where they're going with this. Like I only know that this is not a natural outbreak. Because, like, the opening cinematic shows a scientist, like, infecting the money supply. But, like, by this point, my character has no way, I haven't met the quote-unquote bad guys.
Oh, God, if this just slowly turned into the video game adaptation of The Stand. Like, just with each expansion, you start taking on the role of, like, increasingly more ordinary people. And you're like, okay, well, we've got to make a pilgrimage to Nebraska. If you're on one side, and then the other side is, well, we got to go to Las Vegas, and then it's set up with like a horde alliance kind of PvP split between the forces of Mother Abigail and Randall Flagg. Oh yeah, this is good. This is good.
Kole approved.
Yep. Huh? I can't remember if her name is Mother Abigail.
I have not read The Stand, so I can't help you out with this.
It is. Go ahead.
That's one of those I need to read just because of like the number of times I make allusions to it, despite having never actually read it.
It's good. I enjoy it a lot. Huh. No, I'm happy you're enjoying this. Are you playing this on the PS3? Or PS4? PS4.
Right, yeah.
PSX. Wait.
PS, that one.
Yeah. Wait, PSX is already a thing. Fuck.
PSY.
Yeah. You got anything else, David?
I do. I also, since I've been gone for Freaky Ever Day, been playing Infamous Second Son, although I don't know if maybe I should punt that one.
Go ahead. Just because we do have
sure,
yeah. No, yeah, I mean, so, like, go ahead and punt that. I mean, sorry.
Oh, okay, good. That would be my preferred choice. Yes.
Yeah, no, that's that is cool. I think The Division is a spicy enough meatball. Yeah. I'm going to do mine just because it's real quick. Been doing a lot of assignment play, but I did make time to play NES Remix Collection or pack or whatever this is. That is out for the Wii U. Nintendo just recently did a bunch of kind of like reissues. Like they started their Wii U Greatest Hits line, and they made a bunch of games that were formerly quite expensive, $20. So I was like, well, I've wanted this NES Remix for a while, so I'm going to do that. Cool. And boy, is this pretty fun. Are you all familiar with what NES Remix is?
I am not.
Nope.
So this takes a bunch of classic NES games and kind of breaks them down into WarioWare-esque challenges.
Okay. I think I've heard of this actually.
Yeah. So the Wii U one that I got, it has Remix 1 and 2, and each of the packs has like different NES games, and there are new ones you can unlock. But the idea is like you're down to it breaks them up into like 10-second little challenges. So it's like, hey, hit the vine block on the screen is one that I just did here, and it's like you have a certain amount of time to find which block is the vine. You have to do all of these like little speed runs. You have to kill a certain number of enemies. All of these are like Mario Brothers stuff because I think that's the easiest to understand. And those kind of like little snippet challenges are almost like teaching you to speed run a little bit because it demands like a certain amount of perfection from you in order to get the number of stars. And the more stars that you get, the more kind of like challenges and games you unlock. And so, there's like a mainline level of remixes which take the mechanics and alter them even further. So like, what if Mario was an endless runner?
Huh.
And so here is like a bridge stage from Mario 1 where, you're avoiding cheeps and running over these platforms, and he's just running. All you can do is jump. Like, how do you get through this stage? Stuff like that. And you're doing this with like Donkey Kong, Excite Bike. I just named all my favorites from this. Donkey Kong Jr. On 2, you have like Zelda 2. You have like Super Mario Brothers 2, 3, any of those. And it's just a whole series of these like really rapid fire things that over the past couple of days have been a place for me to like sit down and play like 10 to 15 minutes of game to like clear more stages. It's really weird to be playing a game with that mobile rhythm on my big screen television, but like it's actually kind of refreshing.
So
good.
So would you say do these legitimately have the feel of the original games or like flavor of the original games? Because I know in like WarioWare would often do like mini games that were ostensibly with Snake Picton.
The first time you said it, I thought you said Lipton, and then I was just imagining like him as a teabag, on a store shelf somewhere, and that was awesome.
Yes, I swear I haven't been drinking that much. I would have ones that were kind of looked like they were based on a game, but really had nothing with the gameplay. Do these legitimately have some of the same feel?
It feels spot on to me. I'm not like running AGDQ marathons, so I can't tell you if it's exactly the thing. It, by all appearances and by all feel, these are just like ROM snippets that are like plugged into a certain state that they're loading up, with the exception of like the mainline remix stages, like that Endless Runner one that I told you about. Those have like a visual difference, and I think that they're probably doing more under the hood to make it feel different or to kind of like create what they want to do. Like it's kind of gross actually, like the main remix ones that like all of the sprites have these drop shadows on them and the backgrounds have these like kind of shitty paper textures which look kind of bad. But like when you're running a line in a game doing these like sets of challenges, it just feels like they're queuing up different points in a ROM.
Okay.
Can you give us more of a taste of some of the different game rule subversions?
Specifically, like the 2-pack. Ben, you're going to like this. It has a Dr. Mario mode, where it's like, you have a limited number of time to like clear a certain number of viruses or to set up a certain number of combos, things like that. And I haven't gone too far into it, but it feels pretty cool. In that regard, like Balloon Fight, they have you not just like, kill a certain number of enemies, but like it'll put a bunch of enemies on the screen and then like they'll all turn one color and it'll say kill the red one. So you have to keep track of which one was red and then go and kill it.
I don't know how I feel about the subtext of that.
Yeah. But it's super cool. And like, I never would have gotten it if it was a $50 game, like I think it was for so long, but at a $20, like, whatever. I want more stuff for my Wii U.
Again, can't pass it up if it's $20 or less.
It falls under my heuristic, Yeah. So it's pretty cool. I wish that it was cheaper on the 3DS because it feels like it would be more kind of like suited to that. But playing it on my big screen is fine, and I kind of like making that appointment when I get home to play a couple of rounds of it and then put it down.
Yeah, it sounds like a good type of game to just, relax a little bit and, unpack your day a bit.
I don't know how much longer it will stay relaxing, though, because it's getting really hard really quick. I didn't like rage quit here recently because I don't really do that. But yeah,
Did you beat your knee?
No, I didn't beat my knee, but it's like, you know what? I'm done with this for tonight. There's no more progress to be made.
Did you tight-lipped quit?
Nope. I just calmly held down the power button on the Wii remote, and I was done for the day.
You just said nope.
I was like, not today, Kole. You have control over this. Oh gosh. Ben, how about you?
Knights of the Old Republic. There's a new planet that's in the PC version, not in the console version. Other than that, 3/4 of the way through the exploratory planets. That's it.
There's a new planet? Which one's new?
It's Yavin. It's a space station that's revolving around Yavin 4, I think.
Okay.
I think Yavin 4 is the name of the big planet, not the one that's revolving around it, but I could be wrong on that.
Okay.
It might just be Yavin. But yeah.
I was not aware of that.
Yeah.
I wasn't aware that it was new, I guess.
Okay. I see. Yeah, that's not in the original Xbox version. But it gives you access to a merchant. You can play I was going to say Pizak, but then I was torn between saying that or Space Blackjack. You can play Space Blackjack with him, and then he has like exclusive items you can get. But yeah, so there hasn't been too big of a difference between my like previous runs and this run, but I don't know. I could go into detail, I guess, but this would be similar to like a Dark Souls conversation where it's just kind of like stats and numbers. So I don't know.
How old is that game?
About 10 or 12 years, which is why, yeah.
It was 2004. It was like a mid to late cycle Xbox game, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So are you doing like a different build, or had you done all of the different builds before? I remember asking you this question. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. It's I did a Scoundrel first class and then Sentinel second class. So
Okay.
Scoundrel's like leaning hard into the skills, not on the combat, and then Sentinel is the Jedi class and it's in the middle. One of the interesting dynamics of the game is like at the beginning of the game, it's like it pays to be skill heavy because you could get a lot more done. But then towards the end of the game, like you're only doing combat for like the last sixth of the game, pretty much.
Wow.
And like skills matter less and less. So it's kind of like an interesting game design choice that I hadn't really picked up on before this time. But so I mean, I'm fine with the build that I have, but like it's just like it's interesting balance because if you go for a fighter from the get go of the game, then you're going to be kind of nerfed at the beginning. So,
but you'll be fine at the end.
Yeah, so it's kind of hard to tell which one's better off,
Right.
Because there's a little bit of a snowball effect, but
it just depends on when you're comfortable suffering.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh. Do you think that right now with your momentum you're gonna go on to 2, or are you just kind of like gonna reevaluate if there's any current release that you're excited about?
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, the Division looks really cool. I don't know if David, are you playing that for PC or are you playing it on console?
Playing which? I'm sorry.
The Division.
I'm playing for console.
Okay, all right. Yeah, so I don't know because it seems like you need multiplayer to play that. So that's the only thing that I hesitate on. So we'll see.
You'll need you would need a PSN.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Huh. How did you do Destiny if you didn't have that, or did you just buy time cards for it?
I bought it for PS3 because there are 2 different versions of it. Yep.
Yeah, I forgot that the PS3 had free online.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How easily we forget, and that's how they do it to us. Huh. Anything else, Ben?
That's all I got.
All right. Jala, how about you?
Okay, so the first thing I played is Long Story. I talked about this one initially back on episode 99, so a long damn time ago. At that time, only 2 episodes were out. This is an iOS game. It is a visual novel detective kind of story that takes place in a high school. The main point about it, I guess, one of the interesting features, one of the things that it's notable for is the fact that it has kind of gender and race diversity to it. There's You can play male, female, or unidentified as you choose, insofar as your gender is concerned. And you can basically like choose to have a relationship or not choose to have a relationship. And you can have a relationship with whoever, like any kind of mixture. The characters in the game, there's one guy from Dubai. There are different people from just a bunch of different kind of backgrounds, like one of your really good friends is Filipino and so on. So it's cool because it has like a wider range of character types available to you. This is the one that had the school mascot, which was a turkey hawk. Like there's that is a character, and that character is always inside the mascot costume and doesn't speak. They just kind of mime actions. So you can actually, and like when you first meet the turkey hawk, it gives you
every school.
Well, I mean, it gives you a muffin when you first meet it, and it kind of like
is
wants
that some
to
kind
date
of
you.
horrifying euphemism?
I don't know, but anyway, like so yeah, like that's another thing in the game. But anyway, in the story, you're basically your family went to France, moved to France for a year. You come back and you only know like these three people, Hannah, Jennifer, and Jane, who you call Hannah for Jane because they're always together like a big conglomerate, and like they're kind of bullies. They don't realize that they come off that way, but they are kind of jackasses. And so you come back to school and have to, basically make new friends. And you happen to have a locker that has stuff in it at your school, like these mysterious notes and things like that. And so you're trying to uncover the mystery of the person who used to have your locker. And at the same time, just living a normal high school life kind of thing. So it actually has a lot of interesting situations that you have to deal with as you go through the game, but it also, at least in the later parts of the game that I've played so far, because right now 4 episodes are out of 6 total that will be released eventually. And some of it is to the point where it's like, oh, this is a little bit too realistic, and I'm feeling angst playing some of this, so I need to set it down now.
Right.
But otherwise it's been fun, and I will pop back in and play it again later when I think about it next, just to get the rest of the story and finish out the rest of the game. So that's one thing I've been playing. I just wanted to follow up on that because I had played it previously.
This is iOS or Steam? I forget.
It's iOS.
Okay.
I don't know if it's on Steam too or not, but I know it's on iOS anyway. Okay, so that's one. The next one is Raising Ojipockle. So you can thank James Robinson for this weird-ass thing, because he gets into these conversations with me where he mentions weird-ass games. And as everyone on the show probably already is aware, I like weird things sometimes. So I had to go and try this out. In Japanese, this is a Japanese game, of course. It's Ojipockle Ikuse Boxu, which translates roughly to like dude fairy or uncle fairy rearing box. And
like a box where you put something to raise it?
There is a little box on your table in your apartment, and inside of it is a miniature dude fairy, like a little male fairy who eventually turns out to be like basically a chubby middle-aged guy with a mustache. And
with a Hitler
you raise
stash.
him.
Yeah, you're raising a Carl.
So it's like a Tamagotchi type of thing, like you wake up. Like you can wake it up and you can feed it and play games with it, and you can buy furniture for the little box that it lives in, and you can play tag and hide and seek and stuff like that.
Can you discipline it?
Not that I've seen. You can caress it though. So whatever, like, make it happy. So anyway, I like weird and terrible things, and this is a weird and terrible thing where it's completely serious, and it has like this really awesome opening, music when you turn it on, that I'm just like, oh my god, this is the best. So I told Mikhail about this while playing Rocket League with him the other night, and we had this conversation today And he's like, I tried to feed him and the food was bouncing around. And I'm like, well, that's because he's 100% full. Look at his food meter. And he's like, oh. And he's like, but he needs to eat his vegetables because he ate all this junk food. And who fed him the junk food? Hey, it's not my fault that wizard man left a pile of macaroons when he dropped off Uncle Baby. So where did the cucumber come from? I grew it in the rainbow grass. Like, conversation about this game. It's weird. And so anyway, last I saw, Mikhail had dropped me a line showing me a picture of his 3-year-old Uncle Baby. So,
okay, what did he look like?
Well, he had a very fancy looking pink hat on that has hearts on it and little ears, and he has a rose in I guess is a hand, but I can't see his hand, and then like a little pink hearted diaper, and he also has very thick eyebrows.
And those don't come standard. Well, do they come standard? Every picture of him I see has like what
thick
appears
eyebrows.
to yeah.
Yeah, I guess that those might be standard rather than customized. I'm not sure so much. He has already exceeded past my Ojipockle. My Ojipockle is only 2, mostly because I just kind of left him asleep and was playing games for a really long time, so he was just sleeping for the last 2 days.
Does he talk to you?
I don't know. Mine is only 2, so he doesn't talk right now. He might talk eventually. So anyway, that's a thing that I've been doing on my phone lately.
I suppose you have been doing that. I can't argue. You seem to know a lot of details about this dude, Uncle. Boy. Dennis is posting drunk reviews of arcade games on our level page.
Hooray!
Yeah, so check out Facebook for that. Back to raising a man in a box.
No, that's all I've got to say about that one.
Is that what Alice in Chains was talking about?
Yeah, right. the dude fairy in a box. So, okay. Well, anyway, the last thing I've been doing is I've been playing BioShock for the first time, and I started playing this because I read an article about a weird sea creature.
Okay.
And I read about it, and then I posted into the Slack in the games channel, hey, is there a survival horror game that takes place in the deep ocean? Because deep sea creatures are fucking weird. And then somebody says, no, there's kind of a part like that in Soma, but it's like a footnote. But then BioShock, and I'm like, oh, is that underwater? Because I don't fucking know anything about BioShock because I've never played it. Because it came out during that window of time that I was on gaming hiatus, and I never played the original, and therefore I never played the sequels. So John, Shaka Panda, the guy who was on the Leviathan bonus level with me, he helped me out with fixing up my stream so it works right, even though I'm on Wi-Fi. So big thanks to him. And so I started streaming this because I figured, if nothing else, my reactions to this game, because I don't know what I'm doing and I've never seen this before, would probably be mildly amusing to someone.
It is a blind Let's Play in the parlance of the of the form. Yeah. So except it's not a Let's Play, it's just me streaming, me wandering around the game. It's not edited or anything. But so like the whole first session I streamed, I was basically just commenting crassly about the game. And so, just talking about like, okay, you're in a plane wreck and you fall into the ocean and you go into a lighthouse and into a submarine, totally abandoning anybody else who might possibly be alive out there, and then go down into Atlantis and shoot up with the first needle you find, and now you're beating people with wrenches. Tell me how this fucking makes any sense. Did they eventually explain this? Because as of right now, I am just laughing my ass off at the quote unquote story. So I declined to comment
Okay. Well, right now, to clarify where I'm at, I have finished playing through Arcadia. I stopped at the farmer's market because in order to progress to the next area, I have to collect items. You have to get 7 of this and 7 of this to move on. And I'm like, fuck that noise. I'm done for tonight. The end.
That's my overall feeling on BioShock 1.
Well, so I was like, okay, well, whatever. Bear in mind, if anybody goes back and wants to watch the initial playthroughs of the first bit, I learn controls, even if they are very, like, mostly familiar. Like, BioShock controls are not, groundbreaking new controls by any stretch of the imagination. But the last game that was anything like it that I played was Sniper Elite 3, and it doesn't play the same. So it takes me forever to learn controls, so at first I'm just like, okay, and I'm pretty much just kind of barreling through stuff and haphazard. Like, I'm not playing cautiously usually when I'm playing through for the first time. I only more recently got to the point where I feel like I'm comfortable with the controls. But also, on the last session I played, because I played 3 sessions so far, I added face cam. I have my webcam in the lower corner.
Yeah.
At viewer request, they wanted to see my face because I'm so expressive all the time when I'm reacting to things that I'm seeing. so they wanted to see my face. So now you can see my face. But
So you said you're in Arcadia, so you've gone through the medical wing.
yeah, I finished through all of that. And by the way, like, Arcadia place, they have a lot of druid-looking people that totally look like they walked out of that Anna game I played a while back. And so I was like, I know Anna is a later game, so I wonder if they were just, if they were thinking of this level or what, because a lot of that looks very, very similar. Even some of the parts of the level look similar to stuff that's in Anna. So.
Yeah. Huh. I don't know when they came out. I think Anna was like 2009.
Yeah, something like that. But it did come out later than BioShock did, so
Yeah.
Either way.
If they could have been drawing from a similar kind of thing. You're not wrong to find the things ridiculous that you find ridiculous. But I think that it earns a lot of goodwill for the way that it subverts that feeling at the start, which is not to say like, oh, it's totally worth plowing through this thing that you think is bullshit in order to get to this payoff that you probably have already had spoiled for you.
No, I retain no knowledge of things. If I don't have any frame of reference, I'm not going to remember anything anybody tells me about a thing. So yeah. I don't know anything about the story. But I do have to say, though, I started laughing my ass off when, this dude named Atlas starts talking to me on this thing. And he's like, yeah, so I'm going to get you out of here alive. I'm like, who the fuck are you? Why the fuck do you care about who I am? I want to be able to ask questions. Oh, this is bullshit. So
Yeah.
So anyway, so that's me playing that game. And I will say this. It is not that it's not fun to play. Like, the mechanics are fine. Okay. Like, I think the story is a joke so far, at least, but mechanically it's fine. It's not exciting enough unless they throw something really, really cool at me soon that I will continue playing, unless I have people in that stream watching and reacting, because having company while I'm doing it is what'll keep me going and continue playing it to where maybe I'll finish it. Otherwise, I am potentially at the point where I'll get bored and just like not go back to it.
Yeah.
So I encourage listeners and people. I'm on Twitch at Jala-chan, because Jala-chan all over the place.
Right.
So find me and watch the streams. I will probably most likely be doing it weekends only. Most of the time, Friday, Saturday, Sunday will probably be the more likely times you'll see me on doing that.
Right. So I'm not going to say, hey, play this thing you don't like to get to a thing that like, oh no, it totally gets good when. I'll be curious what you think of when you get to the theater stage.
Okay.
When you start dealing
the
with
theater stage is good. As much as I don't like a lot of the things in BioShock 1, the theater stage is worth seeing.
Yeah. It's really good. It's very effective horror. But I think that a lot of people probably steered you wrong. And not to put our Slack group on blast or whatever, but like what you were asking for with survival horror at the bottom of the sea, dealing with those particular monsters, Soma might actually have been a better fit for you.
Oh, no. Like, when the ensuing conversation thereafter was, well, it's not really a deep sea survival horror. It's not really survival horror, but it does take place under the ocean. That's,
okay.
That was the following part.
Okay.
But
So you had all
still-
the information. You weren't going in expecting
yeah.
to fight like colossal squid or what have you.
Oh, no, I wasn't expecting that. But, no, it's and again, it's not like I'm hating the game or whatever. It's just I know me, and I know that unless something is mechanically changing or being, something new and exciting is around the corner, I'm just going to get bored of the repetition.
Yeah.
Unless I have the company there who wants to see me through the rest of the game. Like if somebody wants to watch me play the rest of the game, I will play it as long as they're interacting with me and catching, some of the streams and things. So like that might be the way to get me to play single player games that I have in my backlog is somebody interact with me on Twitch, and I will do it. So
make it into an indirect co-op experience.
Yeah, I mean, like it's more about like the social aspect for me and the shared experience kind of thing. And if you're there watching me play and hearing the commentary, and I can refer back to that, and like we're interacting at least a little bit, then I will sit down and still play the game. But I gets lonely and I need to talk to people.
Yeah. So here I don't want to belabor a discussion about a several years old game, but how do you feel? Like, do you like the Big Daddy encounters?
Why is it called Rosie?
Rosie the Riveter, because
Riveter.
she shoots a Rosie, shoots a rivet gun at you.
Okay, that's what I was wondering, because I was like, it has the thing called a rivet gun, and it's called Rosie.
Yeah, and
I'm like, it's not Big Daddy itself that's called a Rosie, right?
No, there are multiple different kinds. I forget what the drill one is called, like Mr. Bubbles, maybe. I forget.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I just wanted to double check because I'm like, Big Daddy named Rosie. Confused. What?
No,
but I saw the rivet gun, and I'm like, Rosie the Riveter. Okay, I understand that correlation, but like, what?
Yeah,
Is
that's
that
just
really
a name
why?
for that variety of Big Daddy. Yeah.
The first time I saw one, I was like, I want to be that guy.
You should play BioShock 2.
Yeah, I know. I've already been told that. So, yeah, and anyway, like I would recommend, not because I play it well, but if anybody wants to hear just funny shit that I say when I'm playing games, John said that the first session that I played of this game is like Jala and her level 99 snark skill on display, because I'm just cracking jokes about everything. And by the way, like another thing that happened is that there was this one point where there was a jump scare and some dude shows up right behind you, and I turned around and I saw him. And it was, what's funny about it though is that I'm just like, oh, I guess that's supposed to be scary. Blam, blam. And then somebody else who was watching it got scared and they jumped.
No, the Houdini splicers can be scary. Like that initial like jump scare is like definitely staged to be like, haha, think about it. Are you scared yet? But like going forward in future, like they get behind you and like that is affecting.
Actually, I think it's really funny that you get to like, it's like, here's splicers, quick, pull out that camera and start snapping photos. I feel like I'm fucking Peter Parker.
I love it. It's so good.
It's just like, here, let me take this selfie with this corpse real quick. Hold on.
Yeah.
Like, just okay. I'm just waiting for the selfie stick. It's funny. It just makes me laugh. I'm like, okay, that's fine. Whatever. Yeah. Oh, and I like to hack the bots and have them be my friends. I like them. Oh yeah.
No, the sentry bots are pretty cool.
I like them. They remind me of Batteries Not Included, the ones that fly.
Huh. Well, yeah. Check out Jala's Twitch channel to see those. Are you like archiving and highlighting those?
Yeah, they're archived, and I'm also uploading them to YouTube. I'm actually not under Jala-chan on YouTube, but that's because that's like an ancient account from millions of years ago, before I even had Jala-chan as a handle. So you can just find my name or whatever. I don't know. Stuff. But anyway, like I'm in places, and you can. They also link on my Twitter. Like all of my YouTubes, when I upload them, the links auto populate to my Twitter feed. So I'm at Jala-chan there.
To answer an unrelated question, Ben, I'm going to start streaming Until Dawn soon. I just need to get sufficiently ahead on assignment
other play. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and that's a thing too. Like if people want me to play something else that I happen to already have in my backlog, I will totally go play that. Look at Jala-chan on Steam at all of the games that I've got and the ones that I haven't played at all, and then you know what's in my backlog, at least for PC. And so yeah, that's a thing. Otherwise, provided that it remains interesting, I will play the rest of BioShock, and I will probably take a break before I do BioShock 2 and so on, but eventually that's the intention, is to go through all of them. Mm-hmm. But we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah. BioShock.
I would recommend jumping to Infinite before you go to 2, but that's just me.
They're different enough. Like by the time you get back to 2, it's going to feel refreshing. If you go right to 2, it's going to feel very similar. I wouldn't defend Infinite as being a better game or overall experience, but it'll be different enough to where you'll get that variety.
I'm just kind of curious where I fall on the spectrum, because I have so many people who, by and large, most people say that they like 2 or Infinite better, and that is like they are either in one camp or the other. They do not like basically, like all of them or both of those 2 later games or something. So, I'm interested to see where I fall on things. Right now, I can tell you BioShock 1 is not my favorite. Like, I haven't even played the other ones, but this one's not my favorite. Yeah. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll turn around. I'm not like prejudging the rest of the game. I think I'm not even halfway through yet?
No, you're like in the first quarter of it.
Like, I think I looked up and there's 15 or 16 levels, and I'm like on, level 6 or something?
Oh, okay.
7, something like that.
I might just not have a reckon on it. But, yeah.
Well, I'm past the first third anyway. Like, I'm somewhere between a third and a halfway done.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a 12-hour game.
Well, not the way I play. It's longer than that, because I'm just like, hey, what's going on? Oh, shit, I died. There is, like, no penalty for death, so I don't even care if I die. And depending upon how much I'm drinking, I may or may not, I really may not care. So.
Nice.
Wrench a Big Daddy to death.
Yeah.
Jala don't care.
Eventually, that was my approach to the game.
Huh. Well,
the end. That's all.
The end. That is all. Huh. Well, I'll be curious about that. Does anybody have any objections if we button it up?
Put buttons in places.
I will. Oh, thank you so much for listening to level 142. We're so happy that you decided to join us for this. We will be back.
At least I'm happy anyway. Maybe you guys aren't happy because I'm the happy one here.
I just said I'm happy. Like I spoke for all of us when I said.
Well, you can say things, but do you really mean them, Kole?
Well, I mean, that depends on how much you trust me. Like, do you want to like broach this topic on the air? Like, we can. We can do it. That
should have been a question in the multiplayer. Do you trust Kole?
Just somebody trying to foment like mutiny. Like, no,
maybe.
Only in the North Pole.
Yeah,
on the ice climber.
Oh yeah,
the North Pole.
Yeah,
we can't do that again. I know you wanted it to be a title, but. Oh gosh. So some new stuff that's happening. I believe when this comes out, you'll have just enough time to vote in our t-shirt poll. I want to do monthly t-shirt sales. We have a bunch of cool designs. We want to put it to a vote. We've got a vote for Crick Farms. We've got a design for Explosion at the Asset Factory and a design for what's happening in Narsh. I'm going to try and get the Sugar Bone design up there sometime here soon. But yeah, like that is a thing. Go to Duckfeed.tv/shirts to both vote in the poll for whatever month is active and buy those shirts when they come out.
Yay!
Additionally, added another thing to the store, which is postcards. If you want a random 4-pack of old postcards that we sent out, go to Duckfeed.tv/store and check those out. Yeah, I'm universally proud of all those designs. So, you don't have to send them to people. They can just be considered little 4x6 art prints, and they're super, super reasonably priced. Yeah, those are the big things. Other than that, tell your friends. We have the iTunes ratings and reviews, and check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/thelevelpodcast. Am I missing anything?
I think that's about it. It's about all buttoned up.
Okie doke.
Buttons.
I've been Cole Ross at Cole Ross on Twitter.
I've been David Moneysmith at Moneysmith777 on the Twitter.
I'm Jala Chan in everywhere except YouTube.
I'm Ben Merkel at Merkelizer on Twitter.
Yeah, and stick around for a title.
Just one? Many more.
Well, I mean,
The title.
the title. We're going to get to a title, but I've got lots. I have several. Does anybody have any they want to throw in?
Yeah. Rocket Legions.
Okay.
Open cell phone play trouser snake.
Okay.
Keeping it real, keeping it not real.
What was the context for that one?
That was
David
David's
Hypocrisy.
hypocrisy.
Okay.
Silent Hill Hole.
I have that one down as Silent Hole.
Okay.
I have Hill Hole.
Everybody has their own variant. And then Sex Mints.
Like, how do you spell that?
Well, it depends. The way I heard it was Sex Mints, but the way that David was saying it was like condiments, sex mints, like
Okay.
that. So spelling is two different ways.
Sort of like a
However,
sex.
Yeah, like a sextant. You know, for navigating the stars. David, do you have any?
No, I think they've covered it.
I got Doritos Monster, and the movie came second. What do you got, Cole?
Oh, no. Let me see here. So I had Rocket Legions as well. I had Bonk Rising, Dorito sponsored Corporate Nightmare Den, Silent Hole, The Remainder, Mayor Force 2020X, New Planet, New Space Lord, and Snake Lipton.
Wait, Snake Lipton?
yes,
I like-
Snake Lipton, because of the Lipton tea that I thought I heard.
Well, it sounds like we're pretty split, actually, based on the applausometer that I have running at all times.
I just imagine the clap-o-meter like in Saved by the Bell.
Yep. Does anybody want to make an impassioned plea? I like Dorito sponsored Corporate Nightmare Den.
That's a very long title.
I
go
like
for
long titles.
Snake. Oh,
Yeah.
Well, that's all you, man. I like Snake Lipton.
Okay.
I like Hill Hole.
Hill Hole. Okay.
Has brevity to it.
I'm going to put that in as a dark horse, because like we can go back and forth between Silent Hole and Silent Hole and Hill Hole, but Hill Hole is good because it's a contradiction.
Haunting of Hill Hole.
See,
Hill Hole because it sounds like Hell Hole, and it has 3 L's and 2 H's.
yeah. Hill
You
Hole.
definitely put that on a t-shirt.
Hill Hole's pretty good. Okay, you made your case. I like that one. Anybody else have one they want to back?
I know. I'd vote for maybe submitting it to the masses, but
Okay, well, yeah. Let's see here. We are relatively split. Jala, I appreciate your fondness for Snake Lipton. Let's see how it comes out.
Okay.
Okay.
I
Do
like
the
Snake
thing.
Lipton as well.
Yeah. I'm going to keep that as a provisional. Snake Lipton as a possibility.
I need Ranix
smash
on
these
Twitter.
titles
I still
together.
don't know what
hold
was-
on. I need Ranix on Twitter to illustrate Snake Lipton. Because Ranix on Twitter is the person who illustrated Sugar Bone. And so you need to do Snake Lipton now. I'm speaking directly to you, Ranix.
Okay.
into your mind.
Yes.
I was about to give him ideas, but I want to see what he does. What he does, Blue Ocean. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. Well, let's put it to the masses and see what they come back with.
Okay.
All right. Cool. Thanks, everybody.